No, that has some different implications. CEO. I'm just going to nickname you CEO. Okay. So I'm now just going to take out my phone and check to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. Oh, okay. So it sounds working. I'm sorry. I'm just paranoid now. And there's a large delay on my phone for some reason. Like it's not immediately playing. I'm just going to take your word for it, CEO. Okay. I can't believe I spent 40 minutes. Anyway, okay. So, this is the story of how in session one, my character. uh, this is session. Sorry, this is the story of how in my most recent game that I'm a player in, that in session one, my character died, had his brain eaten, and then got revived by a goddess. So, um, I'll do the. I had an announcement that I did at the start of the previous video. I will do a separate video for that announcement because I just want to tell this story. So, yeah. If you like this video or and want to keep up to date on some D&D stories, or if you want to see my other videos, please jump onto YouTube. It has the exact same name as this Twitch channel. Subscribe, hit the like, and make sure you click the bell notification to stay up to date on any videos. So, in this campaign, I play Anan Fenvin, a Shader Kai elf who is a rogue and a phantom. Now, we started the campaign at level 7, so I have access to quite a good number of abilities. So, my character was tasked by the Raven Queen to look into the unnatural amount of death that was happening in and around the city of Kymel, in which which is on the continent of Teldorin, which is on the plane, the material plane Exandria, which is created by Matt Mercer, and is the campaign setting for campaign 1 of Critical Role. So, my character is in this tavern. He's trying to listen in on trying to find out any type of clue as to missing people, deaths, and so forth. He hears word of someone looking for missing people, and he's like, "There's my hook in to the party." Now again, for sake of privacy, I'm going to just refer to people as the DM, the monk, the paladin, and the bard. Now again, in terms of the monk, I'm not sure if that was his class. I tried looking it up. I couldn't find his character sheet on DDB, so I'm just referring to him as the monk. So, my character walks up to him now. My character is wearing bright, now because he's from the Shadowfell and he does not like the Shadowfell, he wears bright green. So he's wearing studded leather armor that was dyed and painted bright green. It's glamoured, so he can change its appearance. So my character walks up and he says with a very exaggerated accent, "Top of the morning to ya. I couldn't help but overhear that you were looking for missing people." So, a very exaggerated Irish accent. So he eventually spends the day trying to get in contact with the class because that's his background. While he's not doing stuff for the Raven Queen, and because of his skill set, he works for the clasp. So eventually, he does get told, but he does find the clasp in Kymel, talks to them, tries to call in a favor using the clasp background feature. Tells them hey, if they have any information on the missing people or where they can look. Now he does make the argument that if people start looking more and more into these missing people, they might discover the clasp, and that will just muddle shit up for business. So if you have any information while I'm doing this, I can make sure people stay away from the clasp. So he asked them to send in the information to the tavern or to the Circus, which he plans to go with this new group because one, he while he's trying to get to know these people, like he because one of them is very excited about the Circus. He's also like, a Circus will be a good cover for something like this. You know, they travel a lot. You know, people tend to either pay no notion or like pay attention to him, so they could be distracted while someone else is doing something. And so yeah, he doesn't like. He's like, I'll investigate the Circus. So we get to the Circus. Now he sits in front. My character does have the alert fee, and I did roll a 21 on my perception check to keep a lookout and listen out. My character is noticing all the tricks behind the scenes, for the performances, like people with wands, making light effects and whatnot. So he's noticing that while other people are distracted by the entertainers. Eventually, an entertainer comes out, says that he needs more space, an open space for this next performance. So the audience and my character and the group and the party follows him. We get to the situation. So we go outside. We're apparently led someplace else, and then tentacles start to come up from the ground, grabbing everyone. My character failed his check to escape being grappled. One person in the party is not only grappled, but apparently he's paralyzed. Someone, some people, the rest of the party apparently managed to avoid being both grappled and stunned. My character avoided being stunned. Sorry, he avoided being paralyzed. So I asked the DM, because of the alert fee, my character would notice shit going on. Is there time for him to put on his mask? Because my character, as a Shader Kai, he wears a mask that he would normally wear when he's being an assassin or when he's into Shadowfell. And the DM was like, yeah, sure, you have enough wiggle room to put on your mask. So I was like, okay, mask goes on. Then that's when we find out that the entertainer is a mind flayer, and then 2 more mind flayers show up. I rolled really high on the initiative, and so did our bard. The bard went first, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try and teleport behind the entertainer from being grappled and try and strike at him with my dagger, hopefully get my sneak attack. The DM, apparently the guy was not surprised enough for me to get advantage for my sneak attack, so didn't pull off that. But I dealt a decent amount of damage, I suppose. That was my first turn. Round goes by. Eventually, the entire party is freed from the tentacles. 2 party members engage a mind flayer. Me and the bard engage the boss. We're taking him down. He's trying to keep us away from him. Eventually he plane shifts away. So then we move. Then another mind flayer comes over, grapples onto me. Now apparently, the paladin, I believe. Oh no, it wasn't the paladin. It was the monk. The monk was grappled and stunned already by a mind flayer grab, but we did discover that you could pull them apart. Not much of an effort. But the grapple with a stun was devastating. So it happens to me. My character lost half his health in that first attack. That the little just grapple and then stun you. Half my health was gone. It was at that point I was like, okay, we need to actually retreat from this fight. We have the numbers, but we need to retreat. The fact that they can grapple and stun us is devastating. We need to retreat. That was my immediate thought as a player. So now one of the players did do a stopgap to help my character a little bit. I got a little bit of healing, but unfortunately, I was like, I can't do anything. You need to, and someone needs to separate me. Now I didn't vocalize that, but eventually our bard, who was next to me, uses, I guess, a mod of him that's of him immovable rods to then sort of like stand on or sit on out of reach to he cast polymorph. Now I made it clear that I was down on half health, I was looking bad, I'm stunned and grappled, I can't do anything, and my turn was after the bards. He casts it on the monk who was already separated from the mind flare, and I was like, all right, well, I'm done. I knew as soon as he cast polymorph on the monk instead of me, I knew my character was dead because I could not survive another hit. I knew I couldn't. So now I should add a caveat that we did win. We won the day. We defeated both those mind flayers. However, because he cast polymorph on the monk instead of me, my turn was basically skipped because since I was stunned or was paralyzed or whatever, I could not do a bonus action, could not do an action, could not do a reaction. I lost all actions essentially. And then it went on to the Mind Flayer's turn. Mind Flayer dropped me to 0 hit points, and because it's a Mind Flayer, when I dropped to 0 hit points, I was instantly killed. Just straight up killed. And my brain was extracted. Now, mind you, the bar does I should add a caveat. The bar player does accept responsibility for what happened. He was like, I should have casted on you. He honestly thought he had Revivify. Turns out, like, bards don't get it. They get a good number of the healing spells, they just don't get Revivify. Yeah. Now, see, one of the disappointing things about this DM, now, I find it a bit of a disappointment because it's something I expect every single session. Or, well, not every single session. It's something that I expect every encounter. The DM tends to make encounters now this has been more so true in the past year. The DM makes encounters that are just ridiculously difficult. Our combats would sometimes take place at the start of a session and go on to the end of the session. They're extremely difficult. Now we do tend to win, but they're difficult and they take a good long time to finish. Which unfortunately to me, when every encounter's like that, gets boring. So when it was the 3 mind flares, I was like, okay, this is going to be one of those encounters that's going to be very long. I'm going to get bored very quickly. Now apparently the DM had intended for us after the first hit to retreat. However, the problem with that is the stun and grapple. I get it. Sometimes you do need to sometimes you need to put your players into an encounter that forces them to retreat. I get that. I truly get that. However, it's hard to sort of put that in place when the very same enemy can grapple and stun you, which means you cannot escape their grapple without another player trying to save them. And here's the thing, this was our first encounter. Our players don't know each other. So there was no, even if the other players were to pick up on that sign that we were to retreat as well, which again is difficult when the DM tends to make very difficult encounters. So we don't notice, the differences in this encounter. Why would they separate my character and then flee? If they're going to flee, they would just flee. They would leave my character. I would imagine they would leave their character behind, except for the paladin. The paladin is out of the crown, so he did take a vow to protect others. So maybe the paladin would have stuck behind. Yeah. So they are tough. Again, my issue is not with the tough fight. It was with the fact that my personal issue in the encounter was this was meant to be a retreat, a forced retreat, but with the mechanics of the enemy, we couldn't retreat. But anyway, so my character is dead. Right, so back to the story. My character is dead, and he's just I sit back okay, let's see what happens. And like, apparently my DM had a safety net for my character because the lore of the Shadow Queen, sorry, the Shadow Kai, aka the Shadow Elves, and the Raven Queen. So he had a plan. My character was arrived in the Shadowfell, and the Raven Queen was, disappointed that my character died so quickly and so easily, which grappled and stunned. How could I not die easily? um, but yeah, the reason why I teleported to the boss Mind Flayer initially was because as a Shader Kai at level 5, I have the ability to teleport and I gain resistance to all damage until the start of my next turn. I was like, this is a risk. I have disengage as a bonus action if they try and swarm me, and like again, I'm resistant to all damage. Like I might as well take this small gamble, while I'm at the start of the fight. Um, but yeah, mind you, that disengage means nothing if I get grappled and then stunned. Um, but yeah, so my character is back up at 1 HP. Now, one of the players is now a giant gorilla. Like, he's a size category large. Now, the reason why I wanted it to be cast on me is because Mind Flayers can only grapple and stun, like the way they do, if it's a creature of size medium or smaller. Any size large or larger, they can't grapple. So I was like, I was like, cast it on me. Well, like, no, he cast it on the monk. So, no, again, the bar takes responsibility. He knew he fucked up. So I'm like, okay. So we mind you, we actually win. So my character is back with 1 HP, but he has he's going to have a ball patch. I imagine he has a ball patch. And he has a huge, according to the DM, a scab on the back of his head, because, the forced healing. And I imagine his white silver hair is also fucking drenched red. Like, how could it not be, And the same goes for the back of his armor. Like, he has just a huge amount of red. So luckily enough, I did use the bonus action hide. So my character did get a sneak attack on the Mind Flayer that killed him. And I scored a crit. Did not kill him. I was like, that would have been... Apparently I left him on 1 HP, which I could have gotten to how do you want to do this if I was still attuned to my magical dagger. Because I died, my dagger was not attuned to me anymore. So I did not get the additional 4d6 that I would have gotten from the 2d6 necrotic damage that my dagger gives me. So we won the fight, and again, me and the DM had a long talk, and I just came out to him and was like, yeah, dude, you need to start, like, you need to make either the retreats more noticeable, like the retreat encounters more noticeable, or you need to dial back the difficulty of your regular encounters, because if they're so blurred together, we're not going to notice the signs. And I also told him, like, when I play D&D, I play more for the role playing. Like, I do enjoy difficult encounters, but if the encounters are constantly very difficult, then it's not going to make much of a difference. Now, the reason why he revved up the encounters, however, now he explained that to me. He started revving up all his encounters because he's watching. Now, this is one I would like to say this is part of the Matt Mercer effect. And I don't just mean this is against Critical Role. This is about all streaming D&D situations. He's expecting us at the end of some encounters to be a bit more vocal, that like, oh god, that was so close, or oh god, we made it, or he's expecting us to be a lot more reactionary, which again tends to be difficult when we're on, we're not playing with webcams. We're playing, just voice through Discord. Our character sheets are on DDB. We're not using cameras or anything like that. So he was thinking that we were all bored. He was thinking that we were all previously bored because we weren't being vocal about things. Now, I told him, like, well, we're not a vocal group. We don't tend to be like, yeah, or anything like. That's just the way we are. Like, even when we get nat 20s, We're not cheering or anything like that. Like I'm used to that. Like me personally, I'm used to that because in Adventurers League, where there are some tables that get vocal and are all excited, but then there's the rest of the tables tend to be quiet because, well, yeah, and I can't be vocal because unfortunately I play with Americans and I live in Ireland, and due to the time difference, it's very dark here, and I don't live alone. I live with my family and my little brother who is like 9. So I can't at 1 o'clock in the morning, or like I can't be shouting. I can't be cheering that we killed the boss or anything like that. I can't be doing that. So, like I told him, like, fair enough, but like when we tell you we're having fun, you should have taken us at that word, regardless of our, reactions, like our inaudible reactions. Again, he apparently plans to talk to the other players to get their opinion, which again is a good thing. But yeah, so that's how my character died, got his brain in, and revived all in session 1 of a campaign. Now, mind you, folks, this is a backup campaign, which is why we start at level 7. We were supposed to. One player wanted to start at level 9. I wanted to start at level 5. The DM was like, "Okay, we'll break the difference, level 7," because we do have a campaign that is our main campaign that takes place on the same day, but one of our players is actually part of the military, and therefore due to training and such, he tends to have a very chaotic schedule. And currently we're on a bit of a hiatus, I believe. I don't know when we're supposed to come back to that main campaign. It takes place in Exandria as well, and I will eventually tell some stories. Sorry, I'm just one stretch because again I don't like sitting still like this. I like to move around a bit more when I play games. So I might I might try and find some stories there. Like again, I have 2 stories that I was debating telling today, but I decided to go with this story instead. Next week I might tell who knows, I might tell the story about the player who negotiated with a dragon. Sorry, he stripped down naked and did a PowerPoint presentation to a green dragon. Or I might tell the story about how one player slapped a child. Or maybe I'll tell the story of how one of those players talked shit to the big bad of the campaign and then got himself framed for murder. Or maybe I'll tell the time when my girlfriend insulted a demon on her wedding dress. Again, I have a few crazy D&D stories, and that's why I started this Tuesday tabletop story. Upcast crew, thank you for the emote. Unfortunately, this is the end of the stream. I don't know if you were here to hear the story. The video will be exported. Anyone who's currently watching, I'm not sure how many of you there are, but Upcast, if you want to get the story and if you missed it, the video is going to be exported onto YouTube as soon as I'm done streaming. I'll be going straight onto Twitch on my computer, and I'll be exporting it to YouTube. The video, my YouTube channel name is the exact same one as my Twitch name, Willful Ninja. And if you want to stay up to date on D&D stories, if you want to watch videos on Cyberpunk 2077, if you want, drop the link. Actually, yeah, I'll drop the link. Yeah, fuck it. Instead of just telling you guys, I'll post a link. For moments like this, I should really get some like elevator music, for moments when I have to do stuff like this. Just mute my little trailer video that I have on the top of my page. Copy, Control V. There you go. So yeah, I might record some Cyberpunk 2077 today. Maybe I might record about an hour of it. I have some Watchdog Legion videos. I have Star Wars The Old Republic videos. I do have a bit of a schedule, folks. So if you click follow, this Twitch channel. I don't actually have a timetable, but I do have a calendar. On Tuesdays, I do a tabletop story, which will in the future include Warhammer 40k games, and hopefully, if I ever get a decent camera, we'll actually I'll be recording those Warhammer 40k matches rather than just telling a narrative story about it. Wednesdays is my casual day, but for the time being, it is going to be dedicated to me playing Halo. So tomorrow I will be playing Halo Reach, and I'm going to play through all the Halo campaigns. Unfortunately, Saturdays is my free day, which I spend playing. I play in a D&D campaign on Saturday, and I DM a D&D campaign on Saturday midnight at midnight. So unfortunately, it's D&D all day for me on Saturdays. On Thursdays, I do Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I'll be playing that all day. Now normally I normally try and record at least an hour of these games. By the way, on Fridays I record playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and hopefully if I have enough coins, I also do like the booster pack openings on MTG Arena as well. And then on Sundays is when I stream Star Wars The Old Republic. And then on Mondays is what I call Cyber Monday, which is when I play any game that's sort of futuristic. Currently, it's Watchdog Legions and Cyberpunk 2077, which I gotta say, I'm loving both games. Like, okay, for PlayStation users, I get it. Cyberpunk 2077 was a bit of a fuck up. It was a bit of a fuck up for PlayStation users, but I've been playing it on the Xbox One. I have friends who play it on PC. None of us are having any issues. Like, it's smooth sailing, essentially. If anyone wants to be featured in one of my videos, as in like you want to actually get in a video yourself with me and play some games or just chat and chill, I do have a Patreon page with a monthly lottery. For every euro you support my channel with, I will put your name in a hat that amount of times. So for €1 it's once, €2 it's twice, and then I'll draw your name out of a hat at the end of the month, and whoever wins gets to decide what type of video we do for about an hour. Or if you are donating €5, there's a special reward for those of you that donate €5 a month. I will DM a one-on-one game for you that will be recorded and streamed of D&D. So there you go, folks. Now again, like, it's purely optional. It's clear. It's not much. It's only enough to say every now and then to support either getting a new game for the channel or buying equipment for the channel. That's about it. I am not looking to live off of it, because I only set it up because YouTube has become very strict about monetization. So it's just something for, like, every little bit helps. But in other words, for now, this is Wolf Ninja signing out. May the Force be with you, and remember, roll for initiative. Especially if there's a mind flayer at a circus. Always be ready to roll initiative.